Yeah? Hey man, I was wondering if you were wanting to come over and play some games maybe. Oh, sorry man, can't hang out today. I've been polishing my movie collection and I think later I'm gonna go see Oppenheimer in like 71mm IMAX. They upgraded it by a whole millimeter. Dang. All right, I'll try the other guys. All right, see you, buddy.
Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up, Kenny? I was hoping that.
Yeah, I did.
Hello?
I could manage that.
Hey, Kenny?
I'd love to play some games. Hello?
I can't hear you. Give me a call back if you can.
Too many bones. Too many bones. Oh. Hello?
Kyle, hey, you want to come over and play some games?
I'm in Ohio, dummy jabroni.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm getting a call from Kenny, I think. Yep, I'm gonna have to call you back. Sorry. Kenny?
Yeah, I'd love to hang out.
Kenny, I can't hear you, man.
Play some
Hello?
Terrascape or some
Hello? Sorry,
Survivors.
Kenny. I can't hear you, man. I'm gonna go. Josh, you're my last hope for games. Do you want to come over? Come over? I hardly know. Hey, welcome to Tablenauts. I'm Doolin, and today I have a video for those of you who are a little bit like me, who loves playing games with other people, but actually has found that playing board games by yourself is not as sad as it sounds. It's actually really fun and can be this experience with board games that you can't have otherwise. I don't know if anybody else falls into this category, but when I'm with people, I'm focused on having fun with them. But when I'm playing a game by myself, I'm focused on the game itself and I'm focused on enjoying every aspect of it. I'm a lot more critical, I think, when I play games solo. And so this list shows you exactly games that I love that weren't impacted by the people I was playing the game with. I'm playing with myself every single time. It's a really good control group. I will say that not all of these games are solo only games, but have really good solo modes, and I actually prefer playing solo. That second part being a key word here because there are games that I really enjoy and I love that might have made the list, but I don't enjoy them more solo. I think that these games either are only games that are played by yourself and that's all they allow, or they are best at one. So that leads me to two honorable mentions that, I mean, we can't get through a top 10 list without having some honorable mentions. These are games that almost made the list and even were in the top 10 at some point, but recently got beat out by a few games that, man, I've just fallen in love with. And I just wanted to read them really quickly because this is my first top 10 list and I feel bad because if I had done this list maybe a year ago, they would have definitely been in it. First of which is Guild of Merchants Explorers, which if you've not played yet, go check out my solo gameplay of it on the channel. I actually went through it and I really enjoyed the solo mode and I challenged the game itself and I challenged you guys to try to beat my score with the exact same pulls that I was getting. I did enjoy my one play of it, two-player, but I think that this game is just a really fun puzzle for me to pull out and do by myself. And then that leads me to my second honorable mention, which is a very similar vibe in the sense that I just enjoy doing the puzzle and it's a calm, relaxing experience, and I can do it even on my phone when the app was working. I know that the app isn't working right now, but you can actually play it on BGA, and that's Railroad Inc. Railroad Inc. is an incredibly fast, really chill game, especially if you're playing by yourself. I love playing against other people too, but it's very heads down. I think that a lot of roll and writes honestly just make really good solo games, and Railroad Inc. is actually that perfect rendition of it. I love the Blazing Red edition, which is the edition that I try to play the most because I love the meteor strikes that you can throw into the game. But this game is great. Go try it. Go try out its many different versions. Go get you one that you can take to work and play for like 5 to 10 minutes on your lunch break. Number 10 is Ratcatcher, a game that I've been playing for quite some time now. It was actually, again, one of the games I mentioned as one of the first solo games I really got into. Thank you so much. Shut up and sit down. I doubt you'll watch any of our videos, but Ratcatcher was a game that popped up on your radar, and because of that, it picked up on mine. This game is an asymmetric, I know that you're playing against the game and it's solo, but like the other side, which is the game itself, plays very differently than you do. You actually are playing against not only an army of rats, but Mainly, you're playing against this boss, queen rat, king rat that is going to try to kill you. The goal of it is to murder and sometimes accomplish other tasks, whereas your goal is to defeat the monster or accomplish certain tasks, get enough blue cheese before your opponent does. That's the other way that the opponent can win, I remember now. This game has some of the best art in a game I've ever seen. It's the best art of all the art, Pam. But on top of that, it's just filled with a lot of love poured into the different types of monsters you can go up against, rat monsters, and also the different types of rat catchers you can play as. They're all very different. They have different powers, they have different abilities, they have different strengths, different weaknesses, and each time definitely feels different than the last time you've played it. There's a whole lot of game in this small little box, and I can't tell you enough about how much I love this game and how much I recommend this to players who are interested in that sort of race, battle-y feeling game while also having just a blast of a time coming back to it and playing something new every single time. Number 9 is an incredible game. I just really like playing the app on my phone, and I think that is at least the best way for me to play it. I think if I were to buy the actual game, it would take too long in my mind to set up and tear down. And I'm talking about Burgle Brothers. And this game, or Burgle Bros. Burgle Bros. In Burgle Bros, you are playing as up to 4 different thieves who all have these asymmetric abilities, going into this heist. And this heist can change based off of the level of difficulty you're playing at, along with how many layers, what the shape of the building is. But it's really cool because you start not knowing exactly what's going on under each of the tiles. You just know where the walls are, and you know where this guard is going to move next on his patrol. I think what makes this game best at solo, because you can play this at higher player counts, is the fact that I can just be comfortable making all the decisions on the board. I think in games like Pandemic, there's just too much, like especially with the card management, that I wouldn't want to play that game solo, and I prefer the camaraderie. But in this game, I like the pressure of not having this person think I should do this and this person think I should do this, and on their turn I think, ooh, that would be way better. And especially the fact that if one person gets caught, you all lose. There's a lot of feels bad in that if you're the person who gets caught, and especially if people at the table are telling you to do other things. I feel like a game of Burgle Bros can end really dramatically and badly, and it be bad at the table afterward and leave a bad taste in your mouth when it's all you, it's all your fault or all your glory. And it's a fun puzzle to do by yourself, and again, I just like it. It's a really fun game. It's a lot of fun to step into, and on your phone, it's a great app, so I highly recommend trying that. Next up is a game that came out this year, really early this year. I tried it last year, and then I got my copy in, I think, February or March, and I've played it at least 4 or 5 times, and it's a very long play. It's a difficult setup, kind of, not compared to some of their other games, but it's just so fun. And I'm talking about Hoplomachus Victorum, which is a mouthful, but this game is a blast. It is beautiful to place out. All of the mats are beautiful. All of the tiles are beautiful. Everything about this game just screams there was just a lot of work put into it. But the reason that I enjoy this game, because I've seen a lot of people saying, it's fine, is it gives me the feeling, and this is not probably what they were shooting for, of playing Pokemon. So in this game, if you don't know, you start out as the hero of this story who is trying to go throughout the realm and get stronger, recruit allies to fight with you at different areas of the map based off of their strengths and weaknesses, and the boss monster that you're gonna face at the end's strengths and weaknesses. And so you're gonna lean heavy sometimes in the water area because you really need their strengths, or sometimes you'll go and try to get a variety of characters, which is what I like to do. It's almost like building your crew in Pokemon, because at the start of the game, you have a lot of basic characters that you're definitely not gonna win with, but at the end, you've leveled up yourself a whole bunch, and at the end, by the time you're facing the boss, you're also, relying on these other heroes, and that is something that is so fun. I love going through this game and seeing where I was and then in the end, seeing where I've gotten. And there's just this sense of exploration, the sense of leveling up that this game gives you that a lot of other solo games don't, and a lot of other board games just cannot hit, at least not to this level. Next up is our first tile placement game, and I don't know, it's my only tile placement game, which should come as a surprise to a lot of you. This game is, it is a game that I think is best solo because it's really hard to table at more than one. I think it was fun the times, I played this twice at more than one, and I enjoyed it, but the continuation of the game requires that you come back to it over and over and over again and know the rules. Otherwise, it's another teach and another teach and another teach. And I think this game is just best to throw on the table and play yourself and keep going until you've unlocked everything. And this is a game that honestly you don't lose ever. You just go slower to the end than you might have wanted to when you lose. This is Dwarf Romantic, which came out this year. It's a game that people have fallen in love with. It's based off of a video game, which I still have yet to play, but if it's as good as the board game, then I probably will try it at some point. It gives you the feeling of, how do I say, Carcassonne, where you're flipping over these tiles and you have to place them somewhere along the map, and your goal is to finish off these areas to score points. Specifically ones that have these flags on them that will score you a whole bunch of points. On top of that, you want to finish areas of things, so like you'll flip over these tiles that will tell you, okay, this one you need 3 or 4 yellow tile things connected to each other. Or like in Carcassonne, you want those castle pieces connected, but imagine if the Carcassonne pieces had little things like saying this castle can only have 5 spaces connected to it. And you're constantly building out these areas, trying to fulfill these things and get as many points as you can. And then in the end, you don't just win or lose, you just check how many like experience points you get based off of your score. And then you move up this track, and if you move and hit a milestone, you unlock new things and unlock new rules that will help you score more points next time. I love the upgradiness. I love opening new boxes. I love the tile placement. All of it's a lot of fun. My number 6 is another game that I didn't think was tile placement, but it's a card placement, and the cards are basically tiles. So if I lied in the last one, I'm sorry, but this is Trailblazers, which is another game from this year. But this game is so thanky and good that I recommend this to everybody. If you want to play it at 8 players, go for it. It might be a little crazy, but everything is happening simultaneously, so why not? Just try it. If you want to play this at 1 player, I can tell you right now, the solo mode is fantastic. Absolutely try it. But this game is about creating routes for hiking, for kayaking, and for mountain biking, and every single route is going to be in specific colors, either brown, blue, or orange, and you have a base camp square tile that you're gonna have, or card, somewhere on your board. And over time, you're gonna be drafting all of these cards and placing them as you go, but your goal is to create these really long connecting paths of all 3 colors and somehow connect them all the way back to that starting square. So you're gonna have a lot of loops, you're gonna have a whole lot of large connecting things that are interweaved with all of the other colors, as long as you're doing well. And at the end, it's always like 2 or 3 cards away from creating this epic one, or maybe you finish it too early and then you didn't score enough points to reach the threshold you needed. There's just a lot to this game where it's not only push your luck, but also a lot of strategy and really thinky and really puzzly. And one player is the best way I like to do that. If I'm gonna have a lot of AP in a game, I know that doing it by myself is gonna make all of that guilt that I'm feeling to try to just rush my pick go away, because I can do at my speed and at my own time. So Trailblazers, great game. Number 5 is a fairly new pick. It's not a new game, but by any means, but it's a new to me game And I played it a long time ago with, I know I'm contradicting myself. What am I doing? But Jash and Max and our buddy Warren and I actually played through the prologue, but never got to the actual game. And now I'm pretty deep into this game and loving it because I can just keep it set up on this new board that I built. But this is Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and this game, this is my first Gloomhaven real experience, and I can only say that if I had played more of it, and if I had had this longer and played it longer, it probably would be even higher. But 5 is where I'm comfortably putting it at, and it's just so good. I don't need to really talk about Gloomhaven much, but for those of you that might not know, it's a campaign game where you're playing these characters, and it's almost D&D-esque, but you're not making any die rolls, and that's one of my favorite things. Even though I love dice rolls, it's just the intuitiveness of the card selection and the fatigue that comes with playing cards, and then wanting to refresh them, you have to discard one at random, and just all of that is just really, really neat and fun, and it's impactful in the game because each scenario, I'm always really close to just passing out from fatigue with my characters because I'm running out of cards. Some of my rounds that I've played have come down to literally the final turn, and I love that. I love the excitement in this game, and just, it's a blast. If you haven't given Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion a chance, absolutely do it. My number 4 is gonna come as a shock to a lot of you because I've not really talked about it on the channel, but it's a game by 25th Century Games, and it's a game called Resist. And this is very much the opposite of a game like Gloomhaven or Final Girl or Zombicide, where it's just this sprawling, lots of components, lots of things to add type of game, because it's just a game of 60 cards, 61 cards. You play as the Spanish Maquis, which if you don't know about them, they were loyalists to Spain who rebelled against Francoist Spain when he was rising to the power and trying to get rid of all of the, I don't know if you guys know much about this history. I'm certainly, as an American, going to butcher it, but I took a lot of classes in college about this because I have a Spanish minor. I don't know if you guys know that. But needless to say, that type of history really interests me. Getting to why this game is as good as it is, though, you have these kind of like Gloomhaven, where you have these cards that you can use for their base ability whenever you play them, and you have missions that you're going to send these characters on, and that get progressively harder as you play. They're going to face the military that are going to be at each area, and then they have certain things that they have to accomplish. On each card, they have a hidden ability that they can help from the shadows and give you resources, but then they can also be played for their out in the open ability, and it's really powerful and really strong, but it's implied that after you play them for that, they get captured or they get killed. And so as the game goes on, you can recruit new heroes with others, but it's only at the cost of that hero. And so you really start with these, I think, 18 cards. You're losing cards that are really powerful to the military, while at the same time the military cards are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and you have to decide when you're willing to just give up or keep pushing and lose the game entirely. If you retreat, you check based off of how many missions you've scored on this track, and I like it because instead of just saying, oh, you did good, there's 3 different levels. There's Maquis did a couple of things that disrupted some power things, but ultimately were defeated. The middle is they put up a great fight, and it was a stalemate for a long time until they were defeated. And then the really good one is you really put it to them and you did a great job. But that one is only if you manage to defeat every single mission. I've played this game, I think 18 to 20 times, and I've only done that once. It's a very tough game. It's a very thinky game. It'll make you think about history and maybe even look up more of that history. And at the same time, it's just a lot of fun. And I recommend this to any solo player at all because it is so easy to learn. It's very minimal. It fits anywhere, and it's just all around great game. Number 4, Resist. These last 3 I have talked about a ton on this channel. So with that, I'm not gonna talk about them too much, but number 3 for me is a game, where is it? Oh, it's way over here. What am I doing? Set a watch. And honestly, some of you might be surprised this isn't number 1. I think if I had done this list a year ago, it would have been. But this game, incredible game. Love this so much. It is a game that every time I go back to it, I'm reminded that a solo experience of D&D without the role playing can actually be really good. And in this game, you're playing these heroes who every single night have to set up watch. One character is in charge of managing and kind of being a support character and won't fight in the tasks at all, but they'll chop firewood to make sure the fire doesn't go out, because if the fire goes out, you're dead. Scout ahead to make sure that the enemies ahead aren't as bad as they could have been. You'll use this to heal people. You'll use this to re-equip your weapons and make sure that you're ready for the next fight. There's just all this stuff that you can do with that one character in the prep phase, and then in the secondary phase with the dice that you already had rolled way before, and you chose who was going to get sent to the fire. You use those dice to attack and defeat monsters and use your abilities and activate them until all of the row of enemies that were for that place have been flipped over and killed. Or you lose all of your stuff, your characters die, and the game is over. You play through this until you get to the final boss and the final monster and the final place where there's a whole row of enemies and an evil monster at the end, and it's just a blast. I've loved learning this game. I've loved teaching this game to people. I think we had a very shortened version of this game because it does take like up to an hour and a half to 2 hours to play with Jash that I played, and that was his like learning game for us, and I just loved managing everything for him so that he could experience the game that I love. And Set a Watch is very cheap, very good, and just a lot of love was clearly poured into this, and I'm going to be its champion forever. I've just decided that. This is going to be the game that is unheard of to most people, but I really enjoy. So number 3, Set a Watch. Number 2 is going to come at a major shock, because if 3 didn't take 1, I think most of you would have thought this game would, and it didn't. Number 2 is Final Girl. And again, don't get me wrong, number 2, incredible spot to be in terms of board games in general. I've played so many games solo, I've played so many board games in general, it's kind of insane. And for Final Girl to be my second favorite solo game of all time, it speaks very highly of what I think of this game. This is a asymmetric, if you can call it that again, where you and the monster, you both have the same goal of just killing each other, but you have a much different way to play than it does. And you on your turn will use these cards to essentially play a deck building game where you'll use your cards and that will cost you time, but if you don't use all of your cards, then you can get more time, which is your resource that resets at the beginning of each term to buy more cards for the next turn. And I'm blown away every time I play at how close this game is, like how much the game is asymmetric, because there's different maps, there's different monsters, there's different heroes you can play as, and I've not even played all of them. That's how ridiculous this game is when it comes to its variety, but every game feels very close, and that's a testament to how well this game was made. Van Ryder, great job. Final Girl, incredible game. We actually talked about it on our recent, or not most recent, but a few episodes of our podcast ago. In case you don't know what that is, it's Board Game Box Office, where we actually had Jamie from Frosted the Meeple and Van Ryder now come and talk to us about that. Great game. Go watch that, or go listen to that, because you can't watch it. and also watch our playthrough, because we've done a playthrough with Max on the channel, and I loved doing that with him. That leads me to my favorite that we haven't talked about. And what's insane about this is that I don't even own the game anymore. But I can't play it anymore because I beat the game. And then the prototype for the second one came, and I fell in love with it all over again. They've improved the original, and I can't wait to get my hands on the full version of the second game. Guys, I've had 3 videos where I've gone in depth on this game, so I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about it, but Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon, and Kings of Ruin are incredible solo experiences. I've gushed and gushed and gushed about how fun it is to have these storytelling moments that make you feel like you're in a movie or in a video game, and I've never had that experience in a board game, really. I mean, Oathsworn is comparable. I had that with Max and Kenny, and that was really, really good, but the storytelling in Tainted Grail is just second to none. I've decided that. I'm fully convinced. And I thought maybe that it was just a one and done experience. I played like 70 plus hours of the first game and came away just thinking, wow, this game is flawed, but the story is great. And then they came out with the second one, and I was like, did they really like fix things? Is it gonna be as good story-wise? And guys, it's the same kind of writing. It's the same type of storytelling. It's beautiful, it's upgraded, it's fixed a lot of the issues we had with the first one. And guys, Tainted Grail is the best solo game of all time. It just is. I don't recommend playing this game with others. If you want to go for it, I guess. But I think playing it by yourself, just setting it out and really diving deep into this is the best way to do it. And it's just the best. It's just the best solo game. There's never been a better solo experience I've had than Tainted Grail. Let me know if I missed any of your favorite games down in the comments, because chances are I might not have even played it before. This was the list that I came up with, and I'm very pleased with it. I'll probably revisit this in a year and see if anything has changed. And I hope you'll come back to us this time. But again, thanks for watching. We love you guys.